Chunky, chunky, chunky. Man, I just can't believe how many agates I'm finding today. Hey everybody, welcome to Katie Did Rocks. I am on the Montana Yellowstone River where we are hunting for agates after a big ice jam. I hope we find something good. So we did have a huge ice jam that left a lot of sediment downstream, but I'm trying to place a little bit more locally, and you can see the ice is still here. And I just found my first agate of the day. I hope that's a sign of good things to come. Not an agate, but a beautiful piece of banded jasper. Ooh, that's nice. You can see how huge the ice is. I have to say, I'm kind of fascinated just by the shape of the ice and how tall it is. Imagine this coming crashing down the beach. You know it's dug up a lot of rocks. Here's a neat little waterline agate. See how flat that is? The layers, the silica was laid down in layers, and that's what makes a waterline. Here's an interesting one. Still has a matrix in it, and you can see how the lines form around it. It's kind of got a double rim there. That is really neat. That's a pretty piece of petrified wood. I like the colors in it. Here's a really nice waterline. Kava actually came and stood next to this one, but I forgot to push the button. Lots of little ones. These two were just right down there. And then I can see this one just shining in the sunshine. So obviously all these little ones were just kind of moved around by the water and the ice, and maybe we'll find some big ones down there. What do you think? Because we're in the small rocks, I don't expect to find anything big, but it's fun to pick up the littles too. Lots of beach still to comb. Kind of a fun little piece of petrified wood. Looks like this one's black inside. Sometimes you get those, if you cut them and they're all black inside, it's like they've been heated or burned or something. And if you soak them in bleach, this grain comes out. It's pretty strange. A couple steps away from that petrified wood is this little guy. Finding a whole lot of these. This is pretty neat. It's an agate that has wood bark. It's formed, I think it's wood bark. It could be tubes. Oh, look at that. That's really neat. And right next to it, it's a little chunk of petrified wood. It's kind of interesting. Little too quartzy, I think. Pretty though. Here's a bigger chunk of petrified wood that was buried in the mud. Just a little bit of it was showing. And so when I dug it out, I realized that I had to show it on camera. Exploring this is so much fun. I mean, it's great to find the agates and stuff as well, but just looking at what nature does on an annual basis, it's just kind of amazing to me. I have to say, this probably isn't a beach for people that don't like mud. Look at how beautiful this ice melting is. Just look at the gouges the ice left. It's all the way up to my waist as I'm standing here. It's a nice shiny piece of quartzite. I just want to show you this to compare it to a not agate and see how smooth it is. You can see the crystals in there a little bit. Here's another smallish one. Looks like it's got a quartz pocket. Yeah, those are neat. Look at that. It's kind of hard to see perspective in a screen, but that thing's probably almost a foot deep. I wanted to show you this because I sprayed it off. It has the look of an agate, but you can see the colors in there are a little bit, has a little bit of color in it, which means that it's not a Montana agate. It's probably, if you cut it, it probably would be lovely, but I'm really trying to control myself. So I just wanted to show you something that was almost an agate. And while we're at it, just a couple steps away, I found this beauty. Oh, I love this thing. Look at the waterline underneath it, and then just the solid agate on top. That is gorgeous. Even just the plain old beach rocks are just so beautiful. I'm so grateful I get a chance to do this. You know, ever since my dad passed, I've just been feeling kind of off and not feeling myself. And so something like this really helps to kind of get me back together. I think this might be a tube agate. I'm gonna cut it open and see what it looks like inside, but all these little spots all around makes me think maybe it's tubes. These piles of rocks almost look like a runway. I haven't picked up much jasper, but I really can't resist this one. Now here is an interesting find. Ooh, the outside of this one is kind of, ooh, look at how big that is. Kind of strange because it has so much of this light stuff on it. But wow, look at that. That is what I've been looking for all day. That's a nice one. Let's see if we can get it. Nope, it's a little bit too. That's so gorgeous. I'm searching the sand because sometimes bigger agates get kind of buried in the sand. And look at this. Oh, how big is it? Kind of big. Pretty darn big. Oh, wow. Now this one looks like it's pretty cracked up inside, but it's still awfully pretty. I seem to have stumbled on the mother lode of agates buried in the sand. Look at how pretty that one is. Very, very cool. Just look at the size of this beach. You could have 10 people walking side by side and still not cover even a part of it. Well, technically, you would cover a part of it. It's always so fun when they're just shining in the sunshine like this. I always have such good intentions. I'm only going to pick up agate, I say. And then I find something like this. Look at the blues and greens in this thing. Of course, the trouble with coming back this way is that my shadow is in the way, so I have to kind of walk sideways. Here's another not agate that's going to make it into my pack. At least I've turned around and I'm headed back now. This is not an agate, although it is agate, so it is silica. It's not a regular petrified wood, but it is something. Maybe bogwood? And then right next to it, that I would not have even seen is a beautiful limb cast. Look at that. Oh, yeah, it's got a little fortification in there. That's a good one. This looks promising. Oh yeah, that's a nice one too. Wow. You know, I almost didn't even spray this off because I thought it looked so rough. But this is a piece of jasperized wood that's been brecciated. So what happened is it was a piece of wood. It was replaced cell by jasper and possibly some other kind of silica. And then it broke somehow. And all of this quartz cemented the thing together. This is really special. Heading back toward the Jeep ever so slowly, much too slowly for Kava. And look at that. Oh, this is so great. I just really appreciate the time to do this. Looks like it does have some inclusions in it, but it could also have a little bit of jasper. You can see on the end here, it's got some jasper, so it could be a jasper agate as well. Regardless, I'm going to take it along. Looks like a good one. Interesting that there's so many water lines here. When I see a chunk like this, I think, oh no, because it's petrified wood. Oh, okay, so it's not so huge, and actually, yeah, it is petrified wood. I guess I'll take it along. Thank goodness it's not a log. That's a nice chunk. Here's another chunky agate. Ooh, this is cool. It's got some tubes in it. Chunky, chunky, chunky. Man, I just can't believe how many agates I'm finding today. This looks kind of interesting. Not super big, but interesting. Oh my gosh, check this one out. That is crazy. I'm guessing that would be like a treasure state agate rather than a Montana moss. We'll take it home and clean it up a little bit. That is wild. Just one last little treasure before I put my backpack away. This is a piece of banded shirt. Isn't it just beautiful? And a little farewell for now from the river. I put my water bottle away and I'm almost to the Jeep. But I'm pretty sure that this is a big, chunky agate. Oh my gosh, what a day. Oh yeah, that's the best one I've found today. Sweet. Well, that hunt brought me some much needed peace. I hope it brought you some too. Thanks for coming along. This is Kate from Katie Did. fun doing.
If you'd like to share in the treasures, check out my Etsy store, Katie Did Rocks. The link is in the description below. You can also save 10% from Highland Park Lapidary on supplies and rough rock by clicking the link in the description. Get a great deal on some great goods and support the channel.